Well, is Bibi dead? That is what a lot of people are wondering after a series of looks like AI-generated videos were released after speculation that Bibi was dead. These are basically proof-of-life videos that the government of Israel has been releasing. The Prime Minister's office itself has been releasing these videos. We're going to go over those videos and point-by-point break down what is suspicious in each of them, but let's talk about what led to the speculation to begin with. So essentially, it was reported by the Iranians that they had killed or at least struck Bibi Netanyahu, so Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as there was reports that his brother Ido had also been killed, that basically they had struck the family home or Netanyahu's office. And in that strike, Netanyahu himself was taken out, either wounded or killed, that his brother was also wounded or killed. They'd also reported that the head of Mossad, David Barnea, was also killed. They've also reported that Ben Gvir was also, he's the Minister of National Security, that he was also taken out, and Tomar Bar, the Air Force commander. These rumors started circulating after the Iranians said, yep, we took them out. Now, we also hear from the Israelis all of the people that they claim to take out on the Iranian side and with Hamas and all of these. And so the Iranians were doing the same thing. But of course, the Israelis adamantly claimed that this was not true. The only problem was we weren't really seeing Netanyahu. We weren't really getting, he would kind of disappeared. And so then the question was, well, if he's alive and if they're lying, then show us he's alive. And we started getting a little bit of trickling of maybe some reports that Netanyahu was doing things, but he hasn't been seen by the public in the same way that he's always been seen previously. So previously, his typical MO is that he would visit, he would do like televised addresses, press conferences from secure locations, in-person visits to military bases and troops, official photos, statements. There would be a lot of in person with him and a lot of other people, but usually having to do with the military and building up morale or the security situation, not him out sipping coffee. These are the types of things that we did not see during the war with this onslaught of the Palestinians, and also we did not see this during the 12-day war. This type of I'm just chilling, having coffee, and chatting with some girls outside. So it's all very bizarre. So what led to the speculation is that Iran says we got him. And people started to notice that they hadn't really seen Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, the last time that we did really see him, truly, was March 2nd. Netanyahu had visited the site of a Iranian ballistic missile strike in Bet Shemesh, which is just west of Jerusalem. And the strike killed about 6 to 9 civilians, wounded dozens of people. He toured the damaged residential area and also spoke to the press. That was the last time we saw him. Watch this.
Right now in one of the locations that was attacked, you can see just behind me, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has visited this place. This is one of the locations where a deadly attack took place. 9 people were killed, and there were, in fact, more than 25 who were injured out here. You could see Netanyahu, in fact, visiting this particular location out here. And this is the latest that we are picking up in Bet Shemshesh, where, in fact, these are the visuals of the...
Okay, so this was filmed March 1st or 2nd. This was filmed March 2nd. The strike happened March 1st or March 2nd, and then Netanyahu shows up. So probably the strike happened March 1st. Netanyahu's there March 2nd. Then the report is from the Iranians that they had struck and killed potentially him and his brother and others at his house. They claim that they struck his home on March 2nd. So that would have been after the visit to this location. That evening or the next day, the Iranians claimed they struck his house and his office. And that is really the last time we've seen Netanyahu until now, with these supposed videos of him that look kind of like AI. There was another report we did hear about. They claimed that Netanyahu had visited the National Health Command Center on March 9th. There were some released videos and images or images of him March 9th at this National Health Command Center, but those only came from verified, official government, the government photographer. That has not come from any other independent sources. This video here that we just watched was from an Indian reporter, an Indian news channel, and that's an outside source outside of the government of Israel. We have not seen, I can't stress this enough, we have not seen Benjamin Netanyahu outside of official government release except on March 2nd, the day that he toured this site here. And then later that night or the next day, the Iranians claimed they got him. And we have not seen him since, except for what the government of Israel and the Prime Minister's office has released. So they said on March 9th, he had visited this National Health Command Center. And that was March 9th. What's interesting about that is right after the rumors really started circulating that he was gone. And those rumors started March 8th. So we see him in person, verified by outside sources. Then we hear that his house has been struck. Then the Iranians claim they got him. Then people didn't really pick that up until March 8th. They started saying, wait a minute, where's Bibi? The Iranians say they got him, and where is he? And then March 9th, the government office says, he has visited this National Health Command Center, but we don't really have anything to prove that. We have here's a photo, which could have been an old one. And they said these are some statements that he made. But again, it could have been an old visit, that they kind of circulated around. But that was after March 8th when rumors started really circulating that Netanyahu was gone. Let me tell you about Rumble Wallet, because it is more important now than ever, especially as we're seeing censorship just really ramp up. Just when we thought it was going to be over with the Trump administration, we're getting more and more censorship and reports of censorship. And they're just going to go after us in a million different ways, including with our banks, trying to get us debanked. And we're seeing that time and time again, banks canceling accounts, freezing cards. So that is why Rumble launched Rumble Wallet, which is a wallet that no one can cancel, a wallet that you control, not big banks, not big tech, not even Rumble controls this wallet. It is yours and yours alone. And this wallet is pretty cool because you can use it to, you could buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin, Tether Gold, and also now the new USAT, Tether's US regulated stablecoin. And you could do this all in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars. And USAT keeps your money steady against inflation. No banks needed. It's not only a wallet where you can buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators like myself. You could tip, and we get these tips directly in real time. We don't have to wait for those payouts like we do with other platforms. They force us to wait and then if they demonetize us or deplatform us, we don't get it at all. With Rumble Wallet, that is totally different. It goes directly to us. So this is a really great tool, especially for you to tip people that are always on the brink of being debanked, or many other creators have been debanked. It's also probably great for creators who have been debanked to maybe pick up one of these wallets. All you have to do is go to wallet.rumble.com, download Rumble Wallet today. You can open an account, and you'll be one step away from the big banks and being deplatformed and demonetized for good. Again, wallet.rumble.com. That's wallet.rumble.com, or you can search for Rumble Wallet in the app stores. Then suddenly we end up with these AI videos that were released March 12th, and then we had another one that was released. So the first one was released. Let's see, where is it? This one was released March 12th, and then yesterday we got him at a coffee shop, chilling as if he's just sipping coffee on a coffee break while all the rest of the high level government officials are in security meetings and Netanyahu's having coffee. And then we get another video today from apparently that same exact visit that he was, he's out having coffee and chit-chatting with girls. And we will go over the inconsistencies in these videos that really do showcase that they're probably AI. But let's go through some of the other circumstantial evidence that shows maybe Bibi is in fact gone. This is Edo Netanyahu. So they're claiming, part of the claims is that Edo Netanyahu, who is his brother, was also killed in that same strike on Netanyahu's house. Other people have also said maybe his wife, but I haven't heard anything really definitive about that. I keep hearing Edo, his brother, and Benjamin Netanyahu, as well as some others that we're going to go over. Now, Edo has a low profile, so we could not verify whether he has been seen or not been seen because he keeps a low profile overall. He's not really a public person. He just happens to be Netanyahu's brother. But we have not seen him for a while. We haven't seen him since when this supposed attack happened and the death would have happened. But we really didn't see him much prior to that either, so I'm not really sure if we should hang our hat on that so much. Same with David Barnea. He is the head of Mossad, the Mossad chief. He also keeps a fairly low profile, but he was also reportedly struck in a separate strike and killed. We have not seen him, but he's also one we don't see that often. So still not exactly any definitive proof that the guy is gone. Now, Netanyahu, on the other hand, keeps a very visible profile. And in previous conflicts, he has been spotted and seen in a variety of capacities, either, like I said, visiting military bases or speaking or meeting with world leaders or even on the phone with world leaders. That has not happened. There has been not one single meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and any leaders of any governments for at least a week, if not longer than that. We have not heard of any meetings whatsoever. I mean, Trump kind of mentioned it, but again, Trump could be covering because they're in the war together. He has not met with any other foreign leaders since beginning of March or even February. Very visible person. Now, Ben-Gvir is another very visible person. He's always out there. He's the national security. He's the Minister of National Security for Israel. We have also not seen him since March 1st or 2nd. And the Iranians claim they got him. And then there were some strange reports that actually he was in a bad car accident. And then it was all debunked as, nope, that's been refuted. And of course, when you look at the mainstream news sources, they say it's been debunked. And you say, well, how did you debunk it? And they say, well, we just asked the government of Israel and they said it's not true. Okay. Because they don't lie or anything. So we don't have any real verified sources. Every source that says it's been debunked is just taking the Israeli government's word for it. That is something really important to understand here. They're just taking their word for it. We don't have any independent verified evidence that Netanyahu is alive, that David Barnea is alive, that Ben-Gvir is alive. We don't have any outside independent verifiable evidence. We have suspicious proof of life videos that they've just recently released of Benjamin Netanyahu that have a lot of inconsistencies in them themselves. But Ben-Gvir's last sighting was March 1st through 3rd. Prior to that, the guy was everywhere, visible all the time and screaming nonstop. So the fact that Ben-Gvir is not out there screaming, Amalek, 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 kill them all, kill them all, kill them all, should be suspicious to all of us. His Twitter account is active, but a lot of these guys have assistants and interns, working, their offices run their Twitter accounts anyway. Another person who's the Iranians claim they took out was Tomar Bar. He is the Air Force commander. He was in flight service up until fairly recently. So post March 3rd, I believe he did a flight March 6th. And he was seen at least at that time, but the Iranians have since claimed that they took him out. They did not claim that they got him until later. And again, most of this information came out around March 8th. And then when people started to look back the clock, they realized, well, maybe Netanyahu was critically injured or taken out earlier in March, along with Ben-Gvir and David Barnea. And maybe Tomar Bar was taken during he actually actively flies missions. So maybe perhaps in one of those actual military operations. Now, you compare this to, you might say, well, but it's wartime. These guys are not visible. They don't want to be, out there and seen when they're in the middle of war. They're targets. Okay, that would make sense, except we have to compare that to other members of the government and in the military who are in similar roles at similar levels, and how visible are they? And it turns out we see them every day. And there are no rumors that they've been taken out. The Iranians have not claimed they've killed them. And then suddenly we see them. That's not happening. What the Iranians claimed was that they took out these specific people that we have actually not seen with verifiable evidence, real, true proof of life we have not seen. Meanwhile, these other people that Iran has not claimed to have taken out, we're seeing daily. One of those people you're familiar with, Smotrich. Smotrich is the finance minister, and he has been very visible. And in fact, we saw him today. So he was making statements, and he was out there today. Israel Katz. He is the defense minister, seen today. He's actually been seen almost every day. Same with Smotrich. These guys have been seen nonstop, and they're doing meetings. They're making statements. They're making public appearances. And okay, so here's another one for you. Eyal Zamir. He is the current IDF chief of the general's staff. He was last seen yesterday in an interview with Le Monde, which is a French newspaper. This guy here is Gideon Sa'ar. He's the foreign minister. When did we see him last? Oh, today. Turned out that multiple outlets, Al Jazeera, Reuters, Arab News, they've all reported talking to him and his statements on the war that they are waging, really the land that they're stealing in Lebanon. So you compare the ones who are missing and who Iran says they've killed or taken out or critically injured. I mean, they could be in critical condition in a hospital somewhere. Netanyahu, very well, some of the reports are, the rumors are that he's in a hospital in Germany. Israel did keep one of their prime ministers on life support, Ariel Sharon, for 8 years. 8 years they kept the guy on life support. And so it's possible that Netanyahu is either dead and they're covering it up. It's also possible that he is alive but on life support and they're just keeping him alive so they don't have to announce he's dead. And they could do that for, I guess, 8 years. Or he's in critical condition and there might be a chance of recovery and they're waiting and hoping that he does. And in the meantime, releasing a bunch of weird videos in order to, until he recovers. And then he shows up and he's like, hey, here I am. And they're like, wow, see, he's not dead. And that's possible too. That's all possible. But something is clearly not right. What we also have as more evidence around this is that Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were reported to have a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu on March 10th, and that was canceled. So there have been no meetings with Netanyahu from anybody, including our own government, since the beginning of March. So what does that tell you? I mean, this is somebody who would be meeting with everybody, making sure he gets more money, more missiles, more bombs, especially as they're taking a bunch of land in Lebanon. You think that there would be constant meetings, constantly on the phone, constantly telling other countries you're either with us or you're an anti-Semite. We're seeing nothing except some AI videos of him sipping coffee with girls. So don't tell me there's not something strange here. Also, another thing, his son, Yair Netanyahu, went radio silent from posting. He normally posts like 35, 40 times a day. He went totally radio silent for... He went silent for days, from March 8th until today. His account just today started to repost, but it's just retweeting, no statements, nothing is being said. But for days, he went 7 days, 7 days, he went completely without posting. And so people were wondering if he was grieving the death of his father or burying his father. And if he posted, there was a possibility the Iranians could pinpoint where he was. If a lot of people showed up to the funeral, which I would imagine if Netanyahu did die, and if there was a funeral, a lot of people would have shown up who would have been high-level targets. And it would be absolutely in Israel's interest to keep that completely quiet, to not tell anybody that one, he's dead, to not let people know that the Iranians got him, and also to not let people know where, if there's a funeral, where a bunch of high-level targets would be standing at one time. And that would include probably Yair. And maybe that's why others have disappeared. Maybe they were all around Benjamin Netanyahu and they just wanted to keep their location secret. There is that possibility. But now that Yair has resurfaced retweeting from his account, of course, that could be because people started pointing out that Yair's account had gone radio silent. There's a possibility that, some staff members said, oh, we gotta get on Yair's account and start tweeting. There's a possibility Yair was with his father when the strike happened at his home. Those are all possible. But things are strange. That is what we know, is things are very, very strange. Here's another circumstantial. We're not sure. We could not actually locate this tweet, the original of this tweet. This could be fake, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, because there was never a community note on this, for one. And what people are claiming is that this was posted and then deleted. And this was the Prime Minister of Israel office, saying official statement from Prime Minister's office. Rumors circulating on social media about Benjamin Netanyahu's status are unconfirmed We urge citizens to rely on verified updates. Efforts are underway to establish contact. PM Netanyahu remains committed to Israel's security, and that was the 13th of March. So, but that would sound like he would have been killed more recently than March 2nd, the March 2nd or 3rd, the strike on his home, that would have been a more recent, like, oh no, we haven't found him, we haven't been able to locate him. We don't get any information out of Israel as to where strikes happen, especially if they strike military targets or high-level profile, high-level government officials targets. We don't get any of that information. It's illegal for people to actually report on that out of Israel. So we're in the dark. And there's a possibility that maybe he was struck more recently, and that's why Yair went dark for starting on March 8th is the last time he was tweeting. They're all of these things, but they're not really, it's just not adding up. Here's another thing. These security meetings have been going on. Right there at the head is Israel Katz. He's the defense minister, and he's been leading these security meetings, and Netanyahu has been missing from all of them. Two of them for sure. I believe he's been missing from. They've been having these several times a week, and Netanyahu's been missing from these. He normally does have other security meetings, and we haven't seen any security meetings. He hasn't attended any of these security meetings. He hasn't talked with any world leaders. He hasn't met with any world leaders. Jared Kushner and even Steve Witkoff have canceled their meetings. We have had no independent spottings of Netanyahu except March 1st or 2nd when he was touring the rubble. You see, this is all strange. And that is very strange for someone who was during the war between, if you want to call it a war, but the genocide of Gaza and the 12-day war. This guy was visible all the time, constantly in front of the cameras, like Donald Trump. We're seeing Trump constantly. That's another person who we're seeing all the time, every day, in various press conferences, reporters talking to him on his plane, reporters talking to him everywhere he is. The guy is visible, constantly making statements, constantly talking to the world leaders. We're hearing about the phone calls between him and Macron, phone calls between him and, he's calling everybody, asking them to help out with the war. And we're not seeing that come from Bibi Netanyahu. So what is going on here? Here's another. These are unverified images, but people claim these were real and that these were then wiped from the internet immediately, but unverified. But I want to show you anyway. These were images of supposedly when his house was struck, because this type of imagery is actually illegal to have come out of Israel. So this is apparently after his house was struck and he was then pulled from the rubble, and he could be very critically injured here or even dead. So, there's a lot of things there. That's just outside of the weird AI videos. And then they release these weird AI videos, which we're going to break down piece by piece exactly what are the inconsistencies in those videos. And some things I don't see what people are saying. Some things definitely look like something's up. I do think they are AI video. We will break those down next. Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can catch Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, for free at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.